Shalom, family. Welcome to Sectarian Wisdom. I'm your man Elijah, and as usual, I am a wise, wealthy, rich, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. Let's get it, family. All right, family, last time we left off at chapter 8 in the Kolbrin, as usual. But now we're on page 27, and it seems as though chapter 1, so I guess it's almost like a different prologue. So I guess, you know, because you might say, well, you just chapter 8, how are you back at chapter 1? So I guess it's different prologues, you know. So the first prologue was 8 chapters, and now we'll see how many chapters the second one is. But I'm be honest, family, after I read this book right here, because I think there's some information in here that I've been looking for that I need, and I believe it's in this chapter from what I read before. So after I'm done reading this chapter, family, I'm probably going to move on to another book. It's not that I'm not going to come back to the Kolbrin, but I'm probably going to spend another days reading another book for a while, because, you know, I don't want you guys to get so bored. You know, I want to, man, I got so many books and so many things to go through, family, so we gonna go by here, man. So we'll see. Anyway, so let's go. The Book of Gleanings, being writings from various old Kodi books which were partially destroyed in ancient times. Chapter 1, Maya in Lila. This was formerly called the Book of Conception, and said to be the first book of the Bronze Book. It concerns man's conception of the true God in olden days, during the struggle back towards the light. Once all men were dark and hairy, and in those days woman was tempted by the strength and wildness of the beasts which dwelt in the forest, and the race of man was defiled again. Therefore the Spirit of God was wrathful against woman, for hers was the responsibility to reject the beasts within and without, that she might bring forth children of the light to walk in the light. For in man there is a beast and God, and the God walks in light, and the beast walks in darkness. What's this sound like? This sounds like today's problem. Women being in love with these bad boys, and then end up in certain situations. Where are the good men at? I wonder. Not in the forest where you keep finding them beasts at. Anyway, I'm sorry. Now, because of the wickedness that was done, there are among men those who are the children of the beast, and they are a different people. The race of man alone was punished, for the beast acted according to its nature. In man, the beast and God strive to decide whether he shall take his place among the gods that live or the beasts that die. And woman in her weakness betrayed him to the beast. Men struggle daily with the beast and wrest their living from the soil, their day being encompassed with strife and toil. So women bring forth children with suffering, and because they are frail, their husbands rule over them. Man is conceived in the womb of woman, and she brings him forth to life. Therefore, when God raised man up from among the beasts, choosing him as his heir and endowing him with an immortal spirit, he placed a veil over the portals of life. This that woman should not forget. She is unlike all other living creatures, and the trustee of a divine mission. For a woman not only gives life to a mortal being, she also bears a spark of divinity to earth, and there can be no greater responsibility. The eye that sees earthly things is deceitful, but the eye... High value men. I want me a high value man. Forget all these other men who would treat me right, but I want a high value man. I want somebody who make $100,000 or more a year. Otherwise, they broke, and they don't mean this and that. Anyway, let me stop. I'm sorry, family. Let's stay on the task at hand. We here to learn. I'm sorry. The eye that sees earthly things is deceitful, but the eye that sees spiritual things is true. Then, because of the things that happened, the great eye that saw truth was closed, and henceforth man walked in falsity, unable to perceive truth. He saw only that which deceived him, and so it shall be until his awakening. This sounds like me when I was younger, you know, being a teen, you know, from teenage to my early 20s doing stupid stuff because I couldn't see. It's funny how my eyes opened up the older I got, and now I look back, I'm like, yo, you were so retarded. How could you think like Anyway, I thank the Most High Creator for waking me up. I thank the Most High Creator of all. Not the Christian God, not the Islam God, not the Buddhist God, but the Creator of all. Because man is a God. I'm a God. Those who are aware of their spiritual nature are gods. Understand this. The Creator is not a God. The Creator is the Creator. The Creator is the Creator of all. The Creator is the Creator of gods. The next step from here is to be a celestial being, which is why I say celestial. A God is just a human who received the Spirit of the Most High, who is now aware of their higher purpose, who is aware of their higher divinity, who is aware of their higher existence, the spiritual, their spiritual side, their energy side. I've said this in other videos before, but I just wanted to reiterate. Anyway, let me go. I'm just getting in. Let me keep going. Whoo. Okay, not knowing God, man worshipped earth, who mothered him and supplied his needs. God was not displeased, for such is the nature of children. But when no longer children, they must put aside childish things. Nor having blinded them, was he wrathful, that they could not see, for God is. Hold on, let me go back. Nor having blinded them, was he wrathful, that they could not see, for God is above all else understanding. The face of a good father is stern, and his ways are hard. For fatherly duty is no light burden, but his heart is ruled by compassion. His children walk in truth and uprightness. Their feet do not wander, nor are they willful and wayward. Man is born of mud, sun and spirit. Man is born of mud, sun and spirit. In the days of conception, the Spirit of God impregnated, and man is born of mud, sun, and spirit. In the days of conception, the Spirit of God impregnated the receptive earth, and she brought forth her children. Then came man, who walked like a little child, but God took him in hand and taught him to walk in the uprightness of God. A race of men came out of the cold Northlands. A race of men. I want to say something real quick, family. Don't get your panties in a bunch, or your stockings, or your wife beater, because I said that I'm a God and you're a God, and that God isn't a God but the Creator. And then I read this and it says that God can't. Look, family, y'all got to understand. Get understanding. My people die because of lack of knowledge. Get some knowledge. First get some wisdom, because knowledge is the application of wisdom. First get some wisdom and some understanding and some discernment, and then take that and apply that knowledge, because y'all got to understand the truth. Ye are gods. Not all of you. Some of you are just part of the matrix. Let's be honest. Some of you are walking around as clones. Y'all golems. You know what I'm saying? All types of stuff like that. They don't have souls. You just part of the matrix. You here for us. You here for the true spirits. That's it just is what it is. If you don't like it, you know what? I do think that some of y'all might have the choice. I had a thought one day that I think the Gentiles in reality are, and when I say Gentiles, I'm not talking about a certain race of color of people. That's not what I'm saying. Because this is where you have to have understanding. Remember in earlier books, and I think reading through this, but I've said this for a family, your true nature is a spirit. Just like the movie The Exorcist, your true spirit, your celestial spirit self, is possessing the body. Just like we were just reading, it's possessing the body of an actual beast. Humankind is an animal, a beast, a different beast of the beast class. A beast called a human. Just like you got beasts called bears, beasts called lions, and you got beasts called humans. This is the body the Most High Creator said, this is best for the use, for my will, for my desire to experience this earth, to experience the physicalities of things. So you have to understand the difference between a God and the Most High Creator, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. The I am that I am. Not held and swayed in the box of Christianity or Islam or Buddhism or any other religion. I know I'm always picking on them. Or even Judaism, so-called Judaism. He's not in their boxes. The Creator is everything. The Creator is every religion. The Creator is every tree, every blade of grass, every person, every leaf, every single drop of water, every star in the sky. That is the Creator. And this is what you have to understand. There's a difference between a God and the Creator. Just like there's a difference between science, a scientist, and an engineer. The Creator is an engineer. The Creator is not a scientist. Because the Creator ain't got to sit there and discover nothing, because he is everything. There's nothing for him to discover except for himself. So in that way, I guess you could say he's a scientist of himself, but he's not a scientist of external things, because there is no external thing outside of the Creator. The Creator is the beginning and the end. There's nothing but the Creator. The Creator is outside of time. The Creator created time. Understand these things that I'm saying. Those who know my voice will understand what I'm saying, family. Wake up. Get some understanding of what I'm saying. Man. Anyway, I think I said what I said. A race of men came out of the cold Northlands. They were under a wise father, and above them was the grand company, which later withdrew in disgust. Holy Spirit, disgust. I wonder why. Maybe a certain Guinevere, or I forget her, slept with a certain beast, because he is, excuse me, family. Woo! Because he was a bad boy, probably. Anyway, I bet his name was Pookie, Ray Ray, or Chad. A race of men came out of the cold Northlands. Yeah, that is a funny thing. That Chad, Pookie, Ray Ray, and what's his name? What's his name? And you know what? Since the beginning of time, Chad. Dang, I forgot. Oh, okay. Since the beginning of time, Chad, Rico, Pookie, and Ray Ray have been here since the beginning of time. Know that, my brothers. Know that Chad, Rico Suave, Pookie, and Ray Ray have been what's the word? They just been a something. Man, if I was an old man, I know the same. But they just been garbage since the beginning of time. These men, these same men, these beasts have been garbage since the beginning of time. And you know what? Forgive me, Most High, because I'm admit, I used to be a Pookie and a Ray Ray. I did. /Chad. /Running Bull. /Rick. I have different bloodlines in me. But the majority of me is Niji. Is of the Niji people, or the Aboriginals of the... of the Americas. Yeah, that's right. I'm an Aboriginal of the Americas. I ain't no African. I ain't whatever. What people been lying. My ancestors are from the Americas. I am of the Niji people. Now, my tribe, I'm not going to tell you my tribe. I'm going to let the spirit tell you that. But I come from a very powerful tribe. My people, and I thank the Most High for it. Man, I thank, Hey, anyway, let me keep going. Man is born of mud, sun, and spirit. In the days of conception, the Spirit of God impregnated the receptive earth, and she brought forth her children. Then came man, who walked like a little child, but God took him in hand and taught him to walk in the uprightness of God. A race of men came out of the cold Northlands. They were under a wise father, and above them was the grand company, which later withdrew in disgust. This race was the children of God. They knew truth and lived in the midst of peace and plenty. The children of men about them were wild and savage, clothed in the skins of beasts. They lived like beasts. Even more wild were the men of Zumat, who lived beyond them. Among the children of God, woman had equality with man. Among the children of God, women had equality with man. For her counsels were known to be wise. She heard with understanding, and her speech was considered. In those days, her words were weighed, for then her tongue did not rattle in her head like a seed in a dried pod. Women knew that though man could subdue her with his strength, he was weak in his desire for her. In his weakness lay her power, and in those days it was used wisely. It was the foundation of the people. The race was good, but because of its goodness it was destined to be smitten, for only the good vessel is worthy of the fire. It is burnt, that its shape may be set, and its design endure. The path of peace is not the path of progress. The people were not governed by princes or by statues, but wise men sat in council. They had only a code of conduct and a moral tradition binding each one to the other in symmetrical web of life. Oh, hold on. Moral tradition binding each other one. They had only a code of conduct and a moral tradition binding each one to the other in a symmetrical web of life. Those who transgressed the code and tradition were deemed to be unworthy of life among the people and were banished into exile. Among the children of men, woman was a chattel. She was subject to man, an object for the satisfaction of his lust, and the servant to supply his needs. He subdued her and kept her in servitude, for her betrayal of man was known even among them, and it was never forgotten, nor could it be forgiven. The children of God valued woman highly. Hold on, let me read this over again. Among the children of men, woman was a chattel. She was subject to man, an object for the satisfaction of his lusts, and the servant to supply his needs. He subdued her and kept her in servitude, for her betrayal of man was known even among them, and it was never forgotten, nor could it be forgiven. Look, family, once again, two wrongs don't make a right. I understand. I'm going to be honest. I understand the reasoning behind it. But that's my argument today, though, when I argue this whole so-called high-value man, or when people make the argument that a man who wants his wife to be at home with the children automatically wants her to be a slave like this. This ain't what I'm saying. This is what I'm reading right now. This is the aftermath of one woman messing up for the rest. Now, it's not saying it's right, but I'm just saying in the perspective of that time, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what things happen. Look, but in today's world, nah, bro, you shouldn't have your wife your wife shouldn't be your slave. She's your helpmate. You know, just like I said, women have a lot of wisdom. I mean, for those who use it and those who keep themselves chaste and don't abuse their power. You know, as they grow older, they, grow even more wiser. To me, those are women who are pillars of the community because they support a growing society. They support growth, positive growth, not negative, not this new hot girl summer that we always hear about. So, anyway, I want to keep going. I just want to speak about that not every man who wants a faithful, kind helpmeet or wife or whatever you want to call it at home, it's not automatically mean, girl, you better get your butt in the kitchen, shut up and make me a sandwich. That's not what I want. And I think that's not what most men want. What most women want is just a woman who truly appreciates him and cares for him, is loyal to him, and vice versa. A woman want a man who's loyal to them. So I say this to men again. Once again, if you a hoe bag, if you being like these Chads and Tyrones, you got your good woman sleeping around, you just as wrong as these women you be hating on and talking about. Man, look, both of y'all is equally wrong. Both sides need to be faithful. Or when y'all start a relationship with a man, look, if you want to have multiple wives, then you need to be honest with every woman you talk to before you give them. You need to be like, look, this is the way I think, this is the way I live. Take it, look. And another thing, if you're a man and you want to sleep with multiple women, just have multiple wives. Get your money up. Some women will deal with that. Some women wouldn't mind doing it. And for a man who has multiple wives, let's say you got 3-4 wives. I believe there's a care. I think Islam has it right. 3 to 4 wives. Now, for a man who got 3 to 4 wives and you still out there cheating, you ought to be slapped. What's wrong with you? You know how many men wish they could have one wife? In today's world, a lot of men can't even get it. Most men are overlooked. Most men are, a lot of men, well, not say most, but a lot of men are deleting themselves. They're lonely because it's I don't know what to say, man. This dating world now, it's crazy, bro. It's like you can't compare to nothing. You got to be freaking Chris Brown to get a woman. And then they sit here complaining over him. And you see him with 20, 30. Look. I'm not going to go in. I'm going to keep reading, family. This is my channel. I say what I want to say. As we go through and read, we learn and we bring truths out. We bring truths out. That's why I'm talking. That's why I'm preaching. If you don't like it, you can fast forward. You can leave. I don't care. I want people who go listen and see the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not biased. like I said, a lot of times I say, you know what, this world need to burn down. That's what I say a lot of times. So don't sit here and be like, oh, he just for men and he don't. Nah, I'm for everybody. Matter of fact, nah, I'm not for everybody. I ain't for nobody but the Most High Creator. That's what I'm for, because that's the only person, that's the only substance, the only being who I've been taught in life that I can truly trust is the Most High Creator. Everything else, and I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, let me get back to it. The children of God valued women. The children of God valued woman highly. What time is it? Okay. And protected her from crudeness and cruelty. And her standing was such that she was awarded only to the most worthy of men. They held her in respect, for to them she was the fountain of life within their race, the designer of its future. Yet even so they had to restrict her, for she was inclined to be willful and unheeding of her responsibilities. In other words, family, and when I read this, don't take a high value man, because even what I just said, oh well, that's why a high value man. It said only a high value man doesn't mean money. Remember back then, they didn't have money. The first currency, the true currency, was not money. It was food. It was animals, because animals were food. It was wheat. It was grains. It was fruit. It was vegetables. You know, it was animals. It wasn't gold. It was, yes, gold and silver had their place as well. But from the beginning, from the forefront, the first currency was food. So don't let some piece of paper that somebody drew a picture on make you think that that makes a man high value. Because best believe you get that same high value, so-called high value man, he'll put his hands on you, he'll cheat on you, he won't respect you, and you'll be sitting there talking about, I'm not happy. Where are the good men at? Okay, go ahead and keep following the money and the material things. The people flourished, and from generation to generation grew in stature and comeliness. They were the raising tidewaters of mankind, surging towards his destiny. The right of man to a mate was decided according to his standard of thought, his uprightness, the manner in which he upheld the code and tradition, and his dealings with man and woman. The fittest men could choose a mate among all women, but lesser men could seek only among the less desirable according to a known standard. To some having only the outward appearance of men, no mate was given, while the noblest men could take additional ones from among the ranks of lesser women. Thus the race ever tended to improve, to accord with its design. The council of people knew well the strength of man's desire for woman. The force of the urge was not wasted, for their forebears had harnessed it to the vehicle which carried their race to greatness above others. Hold on. The council of people knew well the strength of man's desire for woman. The force of the urge was not wasted, for their forebears had harnessed it to the vehicle which carried their race to greatness above others. The race which could properly channel the forces contained within itself was ready to control the forces beyond itself. The greatest forces man can harness to his benefit are those lying within himself. But the underlying strength of the people lay in the mortality of its women. For this was the strength that governed, because it was the safeguard for something of value. Men strive for gold and value it because it is something not easily attained. If gold could be gathered by the handful, men would scorn it. Its powers is in its scarcity. Then it happened that one man became arrogant in the strength of his manhood and pride of place. His thoughts inclined towards himself rather than towards the welfare of the people. He scorned the old ways, declaring the code and tradition an unnecessary burden laid on the backs of men. He said, why should we carry the burden of things which have come down to us from our fathers? How do we know they walked with wisdom? How can we say that what was good for them is good for us? Because of his unruly speech and wayward ways, the council banished him for a time. And had he remained apart, his heart would have been humbled in wisdom. But among the children of God, there was a woman, one of the most desirable and fair, who interceded for him so he might return to dwell among them, it being in their code that the wayward could always regain their place. The woman sought him out in the wilderness, and coming upon him said, though because of my heart you appear to me as the finest of men in the eyes of the elders, you are unworthy to claim me. Therefore I have spoken for you. Now come, go before them yourself, and say the wilderness has changed your ways. By so doing, you will find favor with the council, and perchance I may become your mate. You know what? You know what I hear right now? You know what I hear right now? I hear one of these women going for a Chad, or a Tyrone, or a Rico Suave, and she about to mess it up for everybody because she couldn't let things be. Because he's probably 6'2", got a six-pack, got 600,000 in it. Okay, he ain't had 600,000 in the bank because it didn't sound like they was using money like that. But you get what I'm saying. Same old issues. Ain't nothing new under the sun, man. I may become your mate. The strength and courage I admire place you. The strength and courage I admire place you high in the regards of men, and in favor with the elders. But your wayward and inconsiderate spirit is unworthy of your body. Though you find favor in the eyes of the young and foolish women who see only the outwardness of your body, and thereby become more foolish. The eyes of the wise women see your naked spirit and are not deceived. Therefore, disregard the glances of foolish maidens, and carry yourself well. Act in such manner that you find favor in the sight of wise women. And said she, Am I not Maya, the most desirable of women, one whom all men seek? Yet will I remain reserved only for you. Therefore be not unworthy of me. The man came out of the wilderness and wastelands. He went before the council of wise women and said, What must I do that I may have this woman for a mate? I want y'all to hear something. I read this real quick. The man came out of the wilderness and wastelands. He went before the council of wise women. This man had to subject himself to a council of wise women. So anybody, he sound like this and he look, it's right here telling you, women were in charge back in the day, but they were wise women. They wasn't out here. It didn't sound like they was out here talking about hot girl summer. They ain't out here twerking, out here acting like the Cardi B's and all these other. Come on, wise women. You hear everything I've been reading. The man came out of the wilderness and wastelands. He went before the council of wise women and said, What must I do that I may have this woman for a mate? For I desire her above all things, even above my own life. For her I will become the most worthy of men among the people. Her standard being high, I may not possess her otherwise. The wise women answered him, saying, For so long shall you conduct yourself in this manner. And they set him a time and a task, that it should be well. The task was to be done with heart as well as deed. But the man accepted it gladly, his heart not in that day, but in the days to come. The council and the elders said, What the wise women have done is good. The council and the elders said, What the wise women have done is good. It will be well and to the people's benefit. The man rose manfully to the task and was magnificent in his manhood, his new ways gladdening the hearts of the maidens, many of whom were disturbed by strange stirrings within their breast. Among these was one less comely and desirable, whose heart burned hotly for him, her thoughts resting upon him continually. But she knew that in the sight she was of little account. Her name was Lillah. I wonder if that has something to do with Lilith. It happened that arising early one day, she saw the man depart in the forest by the swampland, going about his task. And she took counsel with herself and followed him. She came upon the man while he rested in a place of solitude, and approaching spoke softly, saying, It is your servant Lillah. O my lord, are you not weary with the task, burdening your days, also that you lack companionable gladness to lighten it? Where is she who set the load upon your strong back? Where is my kinswoman, who without doubt is more comely and very much more desirable than I, and therefore a very fitting reward for your heavy labors? Does she rest in the shade, or is she gathering fruit back in the gardens? Without doubt, her thoughts are with you, but is she not unduly hard-hearted, in that she fails to comfort you? For is it not in the nature of a woman to come to man and lighten his burden with her softness? It is not in the nature of woman to be yielding and submissive, that man may rejoice in his strength. Hold on, let me go back. Is it not in the nature of woman to be yielding and submissive, that man may rejoice in his strength? Is it perhaps that despite her loveliness, the heart of this woman of your desire is not the heart of a woman? Is it like the mock orange, sweet to look at but bitter to bite? Or is her heart in the keeping of the elders, that she prefers the ways of the old to the ways of the young? What has she done to you? Has she not humiliated your manliness by harnessing it like an ox to the customs of the people? Can it be right that the decrees of old men long dead should come between living man and woman? It is not more fitting that the customs of men submit to the law of her who gave us our nature. The desirable woman is yours, providing you toil and wait. She is yours, but not without conditions. She does not come without reservation, as a woman should, but like a man who comes to an ass bridle in hand. Alas, that I lack the loveliness which places the yoke upon you, but beneath I lack nothing, and am as much as woman as any. My heart burns for you with a flame that comes nigh to consuming my body. Take me, accept my humble offering. I give all freely. I will be yours without any conditions. O my Lord, which of us women truly offers the most? She who concedes nothing, or I who will even be accursed by God and men for your sake? I who am nothing in your sight requires no sacrifice from you on my behalf. I ask nothing, and I offer all a woman can. Then Leela knelt at the feet of the man and placed her head on his knees. I will say this, family. Remembering now that when I read this part, it sounded real good. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. I said, yes, queen. Yeah, she making a good point. I'm like, man. I said, these people playing this man like a fool. Because for a second, I was like, yeah, he right. The way he thinking going counsel, they up here tripping. You know what I'm saying? But keep going, family. It hit me. Something hit me the more I read this. Not now, but the first time I read it. Because I know where the story going. The man was sorely troubled in his body, and he wrestled with it. But his spirit brought before his eyes the vision of the more desirable maiden, and he was strengthened. He arose and said, "Be gone, and tempt me no more." Excuse me, family. Then Leela departed and went her way, but within herself she brooded, and in the course of days her thoughts hatched a dark scheme. She mixed a forbidden potion from herbs, and putting it into a pitcher of water with honey, took it to the man as he toiled in the heat of the declining day. Seeing her, the man said, "Wherefore have you come again?" And she answered him, saying, "My lord, your servant brings a much lesser offering, one you need not fear, as you did the greater one, a humble gift of refreshment." Family, I'm gonna tell you this, and man, this go for men and women. This is just another example, and this even goes back to if you've been following me and you were listening to my other videos, the story about the dam, and no, about Lud and Guinevere. When Lud went to the sorceress or the witch, and she gave him 2 apples, and he gave one to the woman and seduced her. Or this woman about to give this man a potion. Family, don't be accepting drinks from people you don't know. Don't be accepting drinks and food from people you don't know. You know, look, use your spirit to discern the situation. But I would say most times, look, if you don't really need the food, if you're not starving, you know, if you're not living on the street or something, it's not that big a deal. And even sometimes in those situations, still be wary. Be wary of who you accept things from, family, because you don't know who those people are. You don't know if they've done anything. I was just watching a video actually earlier today of a video that came out of China of a restaurant, and they had a whole pot of chicken meat on the floor. And a delivery man came in, and the woman didn't notice that the delivery man was recording the pot behind her on the floor as she was sitting there separating chicken, throwing meat into the pot, and the dog was sitting there eating out of the pot. And it's a takeout restaurant. So, family, anyway, the day being hot and toil arduous, the gift was not unwelcome. The man, okay, hold on. Wherefore have you come again? Oh, let me go back. and putting it into a pitcher of water with honey, took it to the man as he toiled in the heat of the declining day. Seeing her, the man said, Wherefore have you come again? And she answered him, saying, My Lord, your servant brings a much lesser offering, one you need not fear as you did the greater one, a humble gift of refreshment. The day being hot and the toil arduous, the gift was not unwelcome. The man drank heavily from the pitcher, and because of the potion his spirit slept while the beast entered his body in strength. When the fire of his passion was quenched by the waters of lust, his spirit returned, and he reviled the woman, saying, What have you wrought? Would you destroy me in this manner? The woman... I'm sorry, family. You know what that sounded like? It sounded like post-nut clarity. In the moment, he's like, yeah, let me get it. And then after he got it, he looked and he was like, oh my God, what did I do? Oh my God. Hey, ain't nothing new under the sun. What have you wrought? Would you destroy me in this manner? The woman replied, The deed is yours. The deed is yours, my lord, for you are a man, and I am a woman. You can't make this up, family. Oh my God. Hey, how many times have I heard this in today's life? Certain people never taking responsibility. It's always my fault. It's always, everything's the man's fault. Look, don't get me wrong. It's his fault because he should have told her to go about her business. But anyway, ain't no buts. I want accountability for both sides. He should be accountable, and she should be. They both accountable. But anyway, the woman replied, The deed is yours, my lord, for you are a man, and I am a woman. Then the man became afraid, for he knew the code and customs. He became angry after the manner of frightened men, and shouted, Begone from my sight, you viper, lest I crush you. Leela answered quietly, My lord, why be wrathful or afraid without cause? For this thing shall be a secret between us. None will ever know of it. Behold, my lord, are you not free again, and the yoke removed from your neck? Now you may know the joys a woman can give, without submitting to the task therefore. Take your ease, for life is good to you. The words of the woman were not sweet to the ears of the man, for he was filled with remorse for what had been done. He said, You are not the maiden of my tender desires, in whom my heart delighted, and for whom I gladly undertook the task. What now of her whose beauty compares with the glory of the sun, whose gentleness caresses as the sunbeam, besides whose brightness you are no more than a gloomy shadow? Leela replied, She is indeed as the sun. You may worship from afar, but never touch, lest you be burnt and destroyed. I am the woman of your body, whom your flesh has chosen. What has this other woman done for you? Did she not sharpen the sword on which you cut yourself? If one lights a fire among reeds, knowing a man sleeps there, who is to blame for his burning? The fire, he who lit it, or the reeds? It is beneath your manliness to turn on me. Thus am I not ashamed for your sake? And who amongst women would invite the wrath of gods and men as I have done? Be content with the wrong your lust has already wrought. This is an evil deed you have committed. But because we are now united in the flesh, no harm shall befall you through me. Henceforth, among the people, they went their separate ways, but flesh called to flesh, bringing them furtively together in secret places. Each dwelt with the reproachful whispers of their spirit, and each walked in the shadow of fear because of the code of tradition. Now the elders were not without shrewdness, and they saw that the man was no longer diligent in the task, and had returned to his former ways. Also he avoided the eyes of Maya, and was no longer reserved with women. Having sampled forbidden fruit, he now sought other varieties. He was not a man with an end in view towards which he strove. His bearing was not that of a free man. The glances between the man and the woman and their uneasiness were not difficult to interpret. I'm just having flashbacks to my own life and my own choices. And the bad choices that we as men make. So like I say, family, I can't put it all on women, and I don't put it all on women. It's both of us, both sides, male and female. We both wrong for our choices and the things we do. The things we do for our lusts and desires, especially in our youth when we don't have any understanding. The elders and wise women said among themselves, such is the manner of those carrying a burden. Hold on. Such is the manner of those carrying a burden in their hearts, whose shadow love is a feeble, furtive thing. Such is the manner of those carrying a burden in their hearts, whose shadowy love is a feeble, furtive thing, blooming shamefully in the dark and hidden places. Therefore, they set a watch on the pair. The watch came upon them, as they lay together in the nakedness upon their skins, and mocked them with ribaldry. For their passion was profane, and a thing for jest. It was a fungus upon the tree of love. They were brought before the high council, which was the council of elders, and the council of wise women, which questioned them, saying, wherefore have you done evil unto us? The man answered, the woman put my spirit to sleep with an evil brew, and my body became weak because of my manhood. They replied, truly, you have little manhood now, and are a lesser man because of this woman. Now I was kind of thinking, I'm thinking maybe that brew, matter of fact, she said there was honey in it. So I think she made almost like an L. So basically it sounded like she got him drunk. The one, or almost like a roofie, but now that I know she put honey in it, I know that they used to make L back in the day. I think they call it L. L was made with honey. Now I'm just thinking about that. The woman stood up before the high council and answered them boldly. Am I then stronger of the two? Can I lift the biggest stone or run the fastest race? Do not the strong always prevail against the weak? And is not this man the strongest among men? Is this even a matter for your concern? For in what way have we caused harm to any but ourselves? Shall we be punished for that which concerns us two alone and wrongs no other? The high council replied, the deeds of any person affecting the lives of others are the concern of others. Though it were done in secret between yourselves, were not the effects displayed in your eyes for all to see? Does the man serve the people better because of this thing, or does he serve them less well? Has something been added to the people, or has something been taken away? Have not the people lost? I want to say here, family, what they're saying is, this is like the Bible. It says, what's the Bible? Matter of fact, let me look it up. Let me not be a liar, because I know I'm trying to remember the verse. So give me a second, family. Okay, Romans 14:13. Therefore, let us not pass judgment. Oh, hold on. Dang it. Okay. Okay, Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe to the world for temptations to sin, for it is necessary that temptation come, but woe to the one by whom the temptation comes. And if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. Dang, family, this is the only time when I be like, maybe I should be one of those people. Although I've read the Bible all through and I know what I'm looking for, I'm just not one of those people who be sitting there, oh, well, verse so-and-so, chapter this, verse this, verbatim. Because I've met many people like that, and they be the worst kind. They can remember the Bible verbatim, but their actions don't show it. So, forgive me in this, and I'm not, I just, basically, the Matthew verse explained it, But there's another version I'm looking for that explains it a lot better. Where basically it's saying a man or a person that causes another person to sin is the worst. And that's what these people are saying right now. When they're saying, when the girl was like, what does it matter that we do? You know, what is it anybody's business? You got to understand, you're an example before other people. Like a man, like for instance, I'm not even going to go there. Like let's say you're a child in the house as a young man, right? And the men in your house are all very lustful men. They're very promiscuous men, always sleeping around with different women. You see the men in your family always cheating on their wives. They're setting an example for you as a young man on possibly how you're going to carry your life when you get older, how you're going to go about your life. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to do exactly what they do because that's what you were showed, whether you realize it or not. That seed has been planted in you. And this is what they're saying. Or vice versa. Like, for instance, when I used to go back to church in the day and see women come in dressed like they about to go to the club, cleavage all out, looking a certain way, and you supposed to be in church. And then you got little girls around watching this. You got little boys around. And then you got other women's husbands around. And you can sit here and say, oh, well, they shouldn't be looking. Well, why you gotta come out here looking like that? I mean, I'm sorry, man. That's like when you go to the gym, and I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry, but that's like when you go to the gym and and these women come in here almost, let's be honest, in lingerie to work out. And you be thinking like, bro, you didn't have no sweats. You came to get yourself right. You didn't have to come in here naked. And now you mad because I'm looking? Look, I'm going to tell you right now. You can call me a pervert. What are you going to call me? If I'm at the gym working out and you come in look like you got a bikini on halfway naked, best believe I'm looking. I'm looking all day. You can call me a pervert all you want. Because every man in that place is looking too. And don't give me all this different staring, whatever. Guess what? Look, I'm a stare. You ain't gonna know what I'm staring. Don't worry, I ain't gonna be no creep about it. You know what? Let me not put that word. I hate that word. In other words, just because you dress like that, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna jock you. Because although I like my eyes are looking and they might see it, and I don't really do it no more. I try my best, honestly, not to stare at women no more. Because it's me personally, I realize it's not good for me. Especially if I'm not doing that. You're not my woman. You're not doing nothing for me. It's a waste of my time and my spirit and my energy. So now I honestly actively work on not staring at women. It ain't got nothing to do with them and how they feel in this. It's just me as a man. I'm just seeing where the world's going and how I've been treated in certain things. And I'm just trying to, like, I've been hearing a lot more lately, and I've heard it before years ago, but now, be the change that you want to see. And I want to be the change that I want to see. So I try my best not to stare at women no more. And it ain't because of them, because they want it, or because people said, no, it's because of me, because my mental state. You know what I'm saying? So, but once again, if you in the gym halfway naked, I'm best believe men staring. We gonna stare and I don't think they perverts, because if you came in there in sweats on, let's be honest, yeah, they might come. Some might see you at first glance. They might try to holler at you, say how you doing, maybe. But eventually, they're going to leave you alone because you in sweats. But if you come in there just looking butt naked, best believe you're going to have eyes staring. Staring, man. Anyway. And then now we got this trend. I seen grown women walking around, right? Got the spandex on. And then they purposely tuck the back of their shirt in. And then it's like, and then they're not even at the gym no more. I mean, it's still like, to me, very desperate thing to do, even at the gym. But then you leave the gym and you still got your shirt tucked in. And then you going, getting in line, going to take care of business, running errands, and you walking around with your shirt backed into the back of your spandex, like, look at my butt. But then as soon as somebody come up and talk to you, ew, pervert, this and that. But you out here basically telling me to look. Get up out of here, bro, with this nonsense. The High Council replied, the deeds of any person affecting the lives of others are the concern of others, though it were done in secret between yourselves. Were not the effects displayed in your eyes for all to see? Does the man serve the people better because of this thing? Or does he serve them less well? Has something been added to the people, or has something been taken away? Have not the people lost? Therefore, is not that which you did the concern of the people, and not of yourselves alone? The deed of itself was not wrong, except in the manner of its accomplishment. A woman who places no value in herself steals something from all women, for they are then less valued in the eyes of men. And one thing I want to say, men, what I understand now, and I'm going to keep going, I apologize. Yeah, I want to be finished too soon. Look, when we as men sleep around and we ejaculate, know that that's our energy, that's our life force. It takes strength from us when we ejaculate. And we change in ways. We change physically and mentally when we start having sex, when we start sleeping around. And then you keep sharing your body, your temple, with different women. And it's continuing to weaken you. In the Bible it says a poor man gives his money away to the H word, right? Because, and I noticed this one day. I noticed this as I got older. It's funny, as I noticed the Bible coming alive to me. And one day I noticed that the majority of dudes that I noticed were so-called players, and they always talking about how many women they got. They was always broke. They was always paying child support, always going through stuff, never had no money, because they was always giving their money away to multiple different women. Family, men, like I said, if you want to have multiple women's, continue to work hard. Just go into polygamy. Get you multiple wives. At least that way, you're all in agreement. You know what's going on. You got multiple women. And then on top of that, you men who sleeping around, just all willy-nilly, you messing it up for other men. Because now you messing up women's hearts and minds and spirits. And now when another man come around, a man who a decent man, who should be worthy of that woman's affection and her submissiveness, now she won't even look his way because she's stuck on Pookie and Ray Ray and freaking Rico Suave and Chad and all these other dudes who she didn't let run through her. So sometimes men, that's why I say men, we gotta start holding each other accountable. And those men who don't listen, who keep doing this, men, we need to start casting them out the community of men. We need to start belittling them. Because any man who continues to sleep around, I'll put it like this. Let's say you got a boy and he a player. And every time you go out, he's sleeping with another girl. And he talking about he love you, you my boy. He not your boy. Because he not thinking about what he doing. While he's sitting around sleeping with all these women, messing them up, and you sitting there not getting nothing, you hurt, wondering why me, why can't I get... And then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? No, that man don't got no love for you. He don't care for you. Because if he did, he wouldn't do that. Because he'd understand what he's doing. Any man who lives that life and then turns around and says, I love other men and I love the brotherhood of man, he's a liar. Because every time he lays with a woman that he does not plan on being with or marrying, he's messing it up for the rest of us. He's making it harder for the rest of us. He's taking from another man. In other words, it's almost like taking food from a child's mouth. Taking food from a child. Not to say that men are children, but the analogy. Anyway, let me keep going. Oh, and also men, like I said, when you give a woman your strength, you're not as productive. You see, before he slept with her, he was working real hard. But as soon as, he got them cheeks, they started to notice he slowed down. He wasn't as proactive. Because most, like people say, men are very simple. We want a kind woman who will take care of us, be kind to us, be faithful to us, cook us some good food. And we'll go out, be willing to give our life for it, work, do all this work. We just want somebody at home, something simple. And we be happy. We not hard to please. We don't need we got a nice woman we care. We cool. Anyway, therefore, is it not that which you did the concern of the people and not of yourselves alone? The deed of itself was not wrong except in the manner of its accomplishment. A woman who places no value in herself steals something from all women, for they are then less value in the eyes of men. Would men value gold were it gathered by the wayside above all this? What of God-given love? Have you elevated or degraded its means of expression among men and women, among people who value gold above all else? He who debases or adulterates it commits a wrong against them. Here, where love is valued above all else and women honored as its custodian, those who debase it are regarded likewise. We dwell in a pleasant place amid peace and plenty, an inheritance from our fathers, the children of men who have inherited the wastelands. Are our fathers less wise than theirs? Then the customs of our fathers should be spurned? What you have done relates to your two selves, and by your two selves shall your punishment be carried out. This is not a punishment for any wrong done to us, for we are old, and it affects us little. We punish you because we have a duty to the young, to the unborn of our race. We have an even greater duty to the hallowed things which inspire mankind and enthrone man above the beast. Your wrongdoings affect no one man or woman, yet it affects all men and women, and if left unheeded would not be without effect on children yet unborn. The code and tradition is the pillar of our people, and the pillar may not be struck with impunity. Though it be strong, and one blow will not damage it, many blows will bring down even the stoutest pillar. A blow left unheeded encourages another. A deed disregarded is a deed encouraged. A people can be judged by the things it punishes and the things it permits. The swine revels in filth, and therefore attacks anyone who enters his pen. Wherefore, we wholly of the earth, we need only protect earthly things. Thus we banish you forever from among us, unless in your old age you are permitted in mercy to return. In this manner were the man and woman banished from the tilled land to wander the wilderness beyond. They dwelt in a cavern in the wasteland against the outer border of the tilled land, and they ate weeds and wild creatures. There they were in a place defended from hostile men and made safe from ambushes. In the first days of their banishment, the man was wrathful against the woman and spoke to her spitefully, saying, like a lamp that gives no light, you are a woman without womanly virtue, no longer deserving of the honored treatment accorded women of our race. You spoke truly when you said that I am strong and you are weak. So be it, henceforth your weakness shall be my strength. Henceforth your weakness shall be my strength. No longer will the weakness of man be the strength of woman, and the backbone of a people clinging to things without substance. Henceforth I am obligated to no one, and owe a duty to none but myself. Man is weak only in the desire for woman, but the weakness of woman shall henceforth assure satisfaction of the desire. So the man subdued the woman after the fashion of the children of men. She was the wife who ministered unto him, saying, my Lord, I am but a woman, and your handmaiden. The beasts of the wasteland were the keepers of the woman, and she was in bondage to the barren land. For the wilderness was beyond reach of the waters, a place of desolation, yielding only weeds and thorns. The man hunted a field for wild creature, while the woman delved for roots, seeking sustenance from the weeds. Thus it happened that one day, being overcome with hunger, the woman went among the reeds growing on the edge of the tilled land, for flowing plants grew there, the roots of which could be eaten. While engaged in gathering, she was seen by a husbandman tilling the fields, who coming upon her stealthily said, woman, I see you. Are you not the one who was banished? If so, the custom decrees you will have to die, for it is forbidden to re-enter the fertile land having been cast out. Then the woman, being still in the water, loosened her girdle, and letting down her hair, said, honored I may no longer be, perhaps die I must, but am I not still a woman while I live? If you see me otherwise than as a woman, who can please a man by the ways of a woman? Then I say you cannot be a man. Yes, I am the woman your brother seduced, the frail victim of his lust. Perhaps it is better that I die quickly by your hand than starve slowly in the wasteland. Death can hurt me no more than life, which has revealed me to the evil of men. Let me die now for the wrongdoing of your brother. So saying, she came out of the water. The husbandman did not slay, but instead he dallied with her until the evening. The woman said, he departed. This shall be a secret between us, for there is none other nearby to see us here. Give me food, that my flesh may be firm, and my heart gladdened, that I may come often to this place. Thus, in the days that followed, the woman went many times to the waters, and in other places where there were other men. Therefore she no longer had to delve for roots, nor did she toil in the wilderness. Then the children of God banished other men into the wasteland because of the woman. And the man, seeing how this came about, said, Is my affliction because of you never? And the man, seeing how this came about, said, Is my affliction because of you never to end? The woman answered, My Lord, this thing I did for your sake. See others, are they not outcasts in the wilderness, men without a chief to rule over them, or a hand to guide? Gather them together that they may hunt for you and serve you. Rule over them and become powerful. What I have done for you alone. To your strength will be added their strength, and the loss of the people in fertile lands will thus become your gain. What is there that strength cannot obtain? If your desire is for other women, will not strength obtain them? Therefore revile me not, because I have now placed in your hands the means to that which you desire. Now I say to you, and speak truly of things only a woman can know, that you are a better man than those who live bound to the tilled lands, whose women secretly despise them for their servility to the code and tradition. The man was stirred up by these words, and went out and about to the others, approaching them, saying, Behold, we have been cast out because we have followed the ways of men, according to the nature of men. Our manhood is good within us. Let it therefore assert itself, so our strength may be greater. So it came about that the men who were outcasts entered the fertile tilled land stealthily at night, burning the houses and overthrowing the water towers, saying, Let this land rejoin the wilderness. They slew menfolk and carried the women and children away. They stole sheep, goats, and cattle. Then they withdrew to the fatness of the wastelands. Then they withdrew to the fastness of the wastelands. There they built an encampment and fortified it about with walls and ditches. And they made war upon the children of men and prevailed against them. They ruled their women sternly and made them chattels, buying and selling them like cattle. When men said, Come, the women came. And when he said, Go, she went. On her yielding back and on her submissive head, he dissipated his wrath. On her servile body, he satisfied his lust. Lillah was a true daughter of the woman who betrayed the first race of men. It is written of her that when her sons grew to manhood, she caused them to kill and eat their father, so they might gain lifelong strength and wisdom. Man kept woman in bondage, for he knew from his own knowledge. Man kept woman in bondage, for he knew from his own knowledge of her ways that she was not to be trusted. Henceforth, she could not walk freely among men. For they knew that though woman was weak and man strong, by womanly guile she could exploit his weakness. Among the outcast people and the children of men, woman was subject to man. Let me go back. Among the outcast people and the children of men, woman was subject to man, and he imposed his will upon her and dominated her. In this manner, woman wrought her own downfall and the destruction of those who held her in high regard. Her charms she cast at the feet of those who trampled them underfoot. Her charms she cast at the feet of those who trampled them underfoot. Woman was not yet fitted to be the free guardian of the portals of life. She was never wise enough to choose the father of the race, for she was ruled by womanly waywardness, not by wisdom. Family, look. If that ain't the story of Lilith, in my opinion, the matriarch of feminism, especially modern day feminism, which ain't got nothing to do with equality, but it has everything to do with just sex. Really, all it has to do is just sex. That's it. That's all modern feminism is. It's just sex. It's exactly right here. And family, this ain't me sitting here advocating for the slavery of women or mistreating them or being in the kitchen, because you see the difference between the women who carried themselves accordingly, who didn't live in the wasteland, who live in an area tilled, and then the women, and then the Lilith-like woman who ended up in the wasteland, and her characteristics and how she carried herself. And you heard what she said, that the women in the good place, the women who didn't live in the wasteland but who lived in houses and had food and everything provided for them, it said that, what did it say? It said that they in other words, they had disdain for the husbands because their husbands followed the rules that kept their society going, that that kept them safe, that kept food in their stomach. And you have this, and honestly, that's what I see in today's world. I see a lot of men who actually who do work for their wives, who provide for their wives. They let their wives sit at home, take care of the house, and they go work all day, hours, and then come home and their wife cheating on them because they want the bad boy, because they want the beast, and then the beast don't even want to take care of them, and the beast treat them like the man treated the girl. Anyway, family, look, I'm done. This is almost like a red pill chapter. But as usual, family, and I still didn't find what I was looking for. So, but like I said, I'm gonna read something else next time, family. I might do. Look, if I find what I'm looking for, I might read one more chapter out the Kolbrin tomorrow. But be honest, I'm probably gonna go read something else, honestly. But for now, family, as usual, thank you for coming to the page, Sectarian Wisdom. I'm your man Elijah, and as usual, I am a wise, wealthy, rich, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. We got it, family. Catch you later. See, and once again, I got to remember keeping this right here.